It's almost 9:30 now, so I don't know.
Okay, we're live.
Hey, it's Jess the Sky Kid, and we're at Palace Day Sheila Reno. It is Thursday night, as always, and you can go back and watch Kharlie M. from Janesville sing his sultry songs, I would say, sultry silly songs, on the previous video. But hello and welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to start with your name. How did you come up with Kharlie M, and specifically the spelling?
Well, my real name is Charles, so I go by Charlie. Charlie. All I did was swap the C for a K. It was kind of an experiment one time to see how people would react. I worked at a grocery store. I worked at the Woodman's in Janesville. Just retired from there, by the way.
Congratulations.
After 22 years and 4 months of bagging groceries, and I decided to try, and some people will do alternate spellings of their names, so I thought I'd try spelling Charlie with a K. It works for Kurt, it works for Carl, why not Charlie? Well, that H kind of muddles things up. People see the H in there and think it's silent, so no, it can't be Kharlie, that's a girl's name, right? So people would come by and they would say, "Thank you, sir." They weren't going to try that. My coworkers knew exactly what to do with it. I was Kharlie for a couple of weeks. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and at one point I decided to go with a stage name for my music because I was going with my given name, Charlie Pettit. The last name is spelled Pettitt. How many people do you think get that right? About 40%. The rest of them could not find my official website. They would get lost. And so I thought, I'm going to fix them. I'm going to misspell the first name in a funny way that they can't forget. Once you've seen that thing, it's hard to miss it. Now the M, my last name doesn't start with an M. My middle name starts with a D. My wife and son were my two biggest fans at the time. They both have M as their middle initial, and that's where the M came from.
Gotcha.
So there's a story behind it.
How long have you been making music, and what made you start doing this?
I actually majored in music in college, intending to go into church work. And I was doing some limited songwriting, mostly traditional gospel stuff. I mean, like church hymn gospel type things. And so I learned piano in college, and then since then I played in churches and stuff, but never really thought to do much with my own original stuff. And I started writing my own original music more in the early 2000s. And one thing led to another. I did an album based on what I knew, and all the instruments were done on the computer because I didn't have a good instrument I could record with. In 2007, the title of that was because I didn't know what else to call it. And people asked, "What kind of music do you play?" So of course I had to justify it by writing a song about an and if you heard my song, you heard me do that when I'm the So I made a song about an and went from there. And some of the songs were love songs, some of them were other things. I went outside the box and wrote a rock and roll song called Noxious Fumes.
Ooh.
About a breakup. And I'm normally not a rocker, and I've never actually been through a breakup because my lovely wife, Wendy, is the first woman I ever got serious with. So I've never really had a breakup, and everybody says it's very convincing. So I tried a few things, people loved it, and the rest is history, I guess.
When did you pick up the uke?
About 2011, I think. I started with the one that I was playing that had the low and high notes on it, that's a standard concert size uke. It's not the tiny soprano, but it's the very next size above. Normally that has the standard tuning, all high strings, and I swapped it out later on. But I started out with just a regular uke, and now of course I got the baritone, I've got a tenor, and then I've got the other one. I do have a little soprano at home, but I seldom play it.
What's your favorite one to play?
depends on most everything. I think probably the baritone's my favorite, I think. Now, I play at nursing homes twice a month, 2 different ones. And usually I bring the keyboard and the baritone uke for those. And they do a lot of older cover songs. And what's fun is I get to play a lot of stuff I grew up listening to.
What did you grow up listening to?
Well, 60s and 70s pop. Jim Croce, Elton John, James Taylor, Kharlie Simon, stuff like that. And then the old time country, because my parents were into that. So I was into Jim Reeves and Marty Robbins. And of course all these guys are like mellow, and so my music kind of comes off that way, unless they take a notion to do something different.
I can definitely hear like that 60s, 70s influence as you're playing. I grew up watching Rankin Bass cartoons and stuff like that, and The Last Unicorn and things like that. I know they have like a whole instrumentation of music that sounds like your music. It tells a story. It's soothing. It's traveling music. There is a start, a middle, and an end. How do you come up with your lyrical content? Because it's all very story based.
Yeah, it basically, my songwriting, I've heard people relate, how they write songs. Oh, I get the words and then I get the music. It all comes together to me. The words, the music, the chords, the whole thing comes orchestrated, but it comes piece by piece. I'll get a chorus or I'll get a part of a verse, and the rest of it will just kind of evolve from there. It may take hours. More often it takes weeks or months. The most extreme case was a song that took me 13 years to write.
Ooh.
Guess what the title of it was? The Passing of Time.
Okay. Well done there.
And it took me, it was on my last album. I wrote the chorus in 1991 and the verses in 2004, and that's how long it took me to get to record the darn thing.
Oh, wow.
It was another 14 years.
Wow.
So I'm in it for the duration.
So, your Bandcamp is extensive. You have music from way back to present time, and it looks like you had kind of continual growth. So talk about your recording process and how, you've continued to just make music.
Well, my recording, everything is DIY so far. I have, the problem is I'm traditionally have been poor and I can't afford to have somebody else record my songs. So I had to learn how to do this. Well, I kind of used to do, years ago, we did recordings of music in church, and I did it on tape decks and dubbed it from one tape deck to another through an equalizer, and did the best I could. And that stuff didn't turn out too bad for the time. People said, wow, this is good sound and everything. When I went to digital, that's a whole new learning curve. I had to learn it all over again. My first album, I did all the music on the computer, just wrote the stuff out in MIDI files and converted them to audio, did all of that. I recorded the vocals with a preamplifier plugged into my computer sound card and an old SM58 microphone, and just did the best I could. And I learned as I went, and it's been a continual process. People like it, so I keep doing it, and I'll probably be doing more of it now that I'm retired.
So, with your music being posted on Bandcamp, do you have anything as a hard copy? Like, did you go to the store and buy CDs and burn them and have them
That's
available?
exactly what I did.
Okay.
I printed the labeling on my computer printer, and everything was all done at home.
Awesome.
I am currently out of copies, and I will have to make some more.
Gotcha. Because a lot of your imagery on Bandcamp is pictures. Who took those?
Come on, Kharlie M. I took my camera on a tripod, went out in the backyard, and literally shot that myself in 5 minutes.
He does everything himself. All of the things.
Some of my older stuff, my wife took one of the pictures using a film camera, and then I scanned for one of the versions of that I didn't like the way it turned out, so I remixed it a couple of times, and so there were like 3 or 4 iterations of that album. But the original was that was the one that got the most popular for some reason.
So how about the Come On Kharlie M one? We had talked off camera about that, but let those who are watching know what that's all about.
Why the title? Yes, okay. Well, I did that album in 2007. Of course, I've been active. I mostly played open mics. I'm from Janesville, and there's an open mic that goes on twice a month at a coffee shop called Mocha Moment, and a lot of us got our start there. If you've heard of Elmer and the Ceramic Trees, he did. Cat and the Hurricane kind of got started there. Candace Griffin, she'd been going there since about 2010.
She's coming on in December.
So yeah, she's awesome. They're all great. They're all great musicians, and they've grown so much.
They have. I have to
It's
say
like
that.
it's amazing. And but most of the time, I didn't play much out. I just played that particular open mic, and then I started playing in nursing homes. So I really don't have a lot of background doing public shows. I have played a couple. I played at the Exclusive Company in Janesville twice, and I played at the Art Inn in Madison once.
Awesome.
But other than that, no, not much at all. And so, but I've been active. I've been playing music all this time. I said, well, yeah, I've been working on some stuff. I want to get some albums going and stuff. Well, come on, Kharlie M.
Self-motivation?
There's the title. So then, of course, I wrote the little title song for it, and posted that, and then I built the rest of the album on that. And
So
it was fun.
as we were listening and like, you know, really, this is mellow. Like it's a mellow, pleasant, like happy, you know, early morning coffee music, I would say. Or, you know, as you're winding down with your tea at night, and the boys back there were saying, it's like Christmas morning. And I said, I had to ask, do you have like a holiday album? Have you done any sort of holiday music?
I wrote a Christmas song in 1987 called It's Christmas Time,
Okay.
but I have not recorded that at all. But
Ah.
that would be something to look at doing after I catch up with about 5 or 6 albums worth of stuff that I've written that I haven't gotten recorded yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I have, this is gonna be of no use to them, but to everyone on there, because unless I can get close to it, but, I don't know what's going on here. All right. My phone's doing things.
That's all right.
There it is. This is the listing. Come on, Kharlie M. These are all the things I have not recorded yet.
Oh my goodness.
I have about half a dozen more albums literally to record, and mostly all original stuff.
Wow. I mean,
So now that I'm retired, I'm going to be busy.
I was going to ask what your goals are for this project, but it sounds like you've got a few months there.
Oh yeah, a ways to go. These albums will be trickling out over the next couple of years.
How long does it take you to, I mean, like, that's a pretty extensive list. There's like 5 albums there.
Yeah.
So how
6.
long does it take you, 6, yeah, from start to finish to do the, you know, writing, mixing, mastering, recording, and then to
Well, these are
final
all
product?
songs that are written, so
Okay.
that's out of the picture. But as far as recording and mixing and mastering, I would think, you know, if I get started on a project, it'll probably take me a couple, 3 months per album, at least.
Okay.
Because I'm busy, I do other things. My wife is disabled, so she can't do a lot of stuff. She helps where she can and does what she can. The rest of the time, she's just good company for me. And I do the cooking, the cleaning, and so I'm very busy at home. I was glad to retire because I was really not able to do some of the things I wanted to do because I was busy. And I worked nights and weekends bagging groceries because I needed the daytimes open for doctor appointments and things. Now, if you're a musician and you're working a job that's nights and weekends, when do you book shows? And your schedule varies every week.
Right.
When do you book a show? this is why I wasn't playing public shows. Guess what I want to do more of?
Play public shows?
Yes.
Awesome.
I want to play, and this very thing we're doing tonight may just get me into a few different markets.
Good.
So I'm hoping for the best on this.
Awesome.
And I want to get started doing more recording. And plus do all the other fun things that we're able to do now that I'm retired. I mean, we spend more time with my wife and do stuff, and we just dumped cable TV, but we got all new stuff in, so we're paying less on television, but we also have better round of entertainment than we did, so, and maybe I can read some of the books that are on my bookshelf that I haven't had the time to read.
Retirement sounds wonderful.
All of those things, yeah. Now, I have more things to do probably yet than I have time to do, so I will pick and choose and make the best of it. So I'm excited about this.
With this goal of playing out more, how open are you to traveling, or do you want to stay kind of localized in the Janesville area? And will you, like, what's your game plan? Do you plan on going, I want to play here, so I'll reach out there? Or are you going to ask for the support of all of those humans watching to, like, help you do that?
Yeah, I would. That's the direction I'm thinking of going. That was kind of my goal with playing here. Plus, just having another fun night, being able to play out for some great people. All of you that watched the show, thank you. That was wonderful. I could feel the presence of more people here than just 3 others besides myself, and I felt like I was playing for a crowd, and it was great.
That's wonderful.
So, yeah, I kind of want to do both. I mean, for me, just driving, now my wife couldn't make the basement because
The stairs.
the stairs. And so she was hopefully going to watch, and like I say, if she did miss the show, I'll watch it with her on YouTube, and we'll watch it together. I want to see what I look like or sound like. Anyway, that'll be interesting. And but I would like to play some around Janesville and Madison, but if Milwaukee's calling, I'm already in Kenosha here. Chicago, I bring it on. I mean, but at this point, I'm not going. Probably wouldn't be traveling much over 50 or 100 miles,
Right, as winter comes down.
But I would like to get into some different places. I think it would be very exciting.
Yeah.
I'd like to get into some places where I could take my wife along with too, and just make a day of it, or even stay overnight someplace.
Do you know who Party Marty is?
Yes.
I was going to say he does a
Yeah.
music festival in the summer. That would be something that,
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, he did this last summer, right? I think all 3 of my friends that I mentioned were in that
Yes.
show.
Yep. Yes. And when he was here too, he was like, "Oh, we do this thing," and I was like, "Oh, that would be. I can see you around a campfire. We got s'mores going, some coffee,
And little Kharlie. Yeah.
That would be very pleasant."
Some coffee, yeah.
I know. So with that kind of being said, what pushed you? I mean, the open mics. How did you decide I'm gonna go start doing that?
That was more the idea that I wanted to just start getting involved in playing different places, and especially at a coffee shop like that, the crowd was forgiving. I mean, when I first started, I just took because I couldn't play an instrument except for a keyboard, and all I had was this little thing. I took soundtracks on CD that I burned from my album, and I sang songs from that. And I did that so much, after a few months, I think almost everybody that came there knew all them songs by heart, so I knew I had to try something else, So then I started bringing my little keyboard and playing stuff, and it went from there.
Awesome. And then with the exclusive company, how did you get that gig?
Well, the first time I played there, I believe there was another band that was playing, and they had gotten 3 or 4 of my 2 or 3 of my other friends in there. I thought, well, wow, this sounds like fun. Is there room enough for me? So I asked, and they let me play in theirs. And the last one, I walked in and asked Drew, the manager, about playing a show, and I says, I've got an album out I just released, come on Kharlie M, I'd like to promote it. And so he said, well, yeah, sure, and says, if you want to invite some of your friends, well, I got one or two of my friends, and then we got Lynn Jennings from Madison to play at that show. And that's how I met her, and she's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's just getting me in to play some different places.
Awesome.
And the Art Inn, I think they scout out people from different places. They found me online and contacted me
Wonderful.
and got me to play up there.
Growth is good.
So, it was fun.
That's great. So, when you now have more free time, do you think that you'll start going to more local shows to scout other people you'd want to play with?
That's a possibility too. I've been to a few local shows. It's been several months back, maybe close to a year, that I saw Candace Griffin at the Lark in Janesville, and that was a fun show. I've also been going to an open mic at the Looking Glass, and there's a few different people that play there that don't play at the Mocha Moment.
Mm.
So I'm getting in around to meet a few more musicians again. So
Awesome. Do you think you'll have more hard copies of your album? And was that available at the exclusive company?
yes,
Okay.
as far as I know, it still is, unless they've sold out. I got to go back and check again. But when last I checked, one or two of those had sold that I
Awesome.
put in there.
Very
And
cool.
I also have them at Voight Music. So I am personally out of copies, but there are copies available.
Check exclusive company. Check
Voight Music
Voight.
on Main Street.
Okay. So with, meeting and knowing some of these other people now that we do, would you say that there is collaboration between you guys? And do you think you'd ever play or do an album with, say, Candace or Elmer or any of that?
I could see getting one or more of them into some of my songs, or vice versa, getting into maybe doing backup parts on one of their songs or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, another band that slipped my mind until right now, Prone to Sorrow.
They were supposed to come on our show.
If you guys are listening, I have a song that I have some backup parts maybe you could do. Because I could hear their voices on this. I actually myself was going to record backup parts, and I'm going, these parts are too high.
Uh-huh.
These are ladies' parts, and I could hear Mackenzie and Vicky on those parts just beautiful. It would be great.
When you record, do you have a spot in your house, or are you just like, we're in the living room, I'm plugging in, like we do our Tuesday night show? Except when we're
I
tired.
usually do my recording in the master bedroom.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go to the upstairs bedroom if I need more quiet.
Ah.
Because a lot of times my wife will be watching TV, but what I have done in the past is record in the master bedroom if it's like late at night and she's in bed with her CPAP on and doesn't hear anything,
Mm-hmm.
and the TV's off, or she's out volunteering. She volunteers at the hospital when she can. And then I'd have the place to myself and I can record then. But I'll probably move most of my operation upstairs because that room is empty right now.
How did you get the nursing home gigs? And if she volunteers at the hospital, is that something like you're gonna try to get into too?
The hospital has a volunteer program where people sing to people. I haven't really looked into it much, but I've got some information on it at one point. But I'd like to do maybe one or two more of the nursing home things each month. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of the music that I know, from when I've grown up, I mean, they know that music too. And then they've requested some older songs, and one of those older songs I'm gonna jump through the hoops and get the rights on, and it's going on one of my albums.
Oh.
That's a song by Irving Berlin called Always. It's going to go on one of my love song albums that I'm doing for Wendy.
Ah.
So It's a beautiful song.
The last song you played was for her.
Yeah.
And when we talked off camera, you kind of expanded upon what you want to do with that. Can you clue anybody in, or is that supposed to be
Oh,
hush?
no, I've told other people around locally, that Until That Day Comes, the very last song I did on the baritone uke, right at the end of the show, I want to do a virtual orchestra behind that. I mean, strings, contrabass, the whole thing. And a little bit, if I can figure out a way to do it with multiple voicing or something, kind of like a background chorus in parts of it as well. Just draw it out and make it majestic, and, until that day comes, I will always be in love with you. It's just
So you just
just want to
retired.
play it up to the max, pretty much.
You also just celebrated yesterday an anniversary.
37 years.
So that's, you just have a lot of good
A
things.
lot of stuff going on, yeah.
And share your philosophy, about your songs, about how you're just loving life. Because, that is such an important thing to do and know.
I think it is. I've got a lot of respect for everyone else that's out there. They're making music and what's on their heart. But I hear so many, just loads and loads of really, really sad songs. I've written a few of them too. I have a song called "Ming Again" that I wrote. It's like, I'm so sad. And I'm "Ming Again." And I rarely perform it because I usually can't get through it without crying.
Okay.
It's that. It's also 6 minutes and 10 seconds long, and it would take up too much of the show. But it's going to go on one of my albums. So, I do some of that stuff too. But there are some fans out there, bless their heart. I mean, I love them to death, and some of these are my close friends from Janesville. But all of their songs are very sad. It's just how it comes out with them. And for one thing, I like to mix it up.
Right.
I do like to mix it up. But I also think we need more encouragement and more just happiness. Everything is so uptight. Some of my songs that I did tonight was about talking about how we live too fast and we're doing too much, we're under too much pressure in life. And I'd like to find out if in some small way, through my music, I can help people to relax and let go of some of that. Now, I think it's so important that we can just kind of come back down to earth, because we get so high-strung, so wound up, and so rattled. And I think that's where some of the road rage and some of the other things come in. So that's, I like to be able to lighten it up for people. And so I write songs like "Go Ask Your Mom."
I really like that song. I do like that song. I liked the Minnesota Highway song.
Yeah.
Because even though that's scary, I've experienced the same type of thing, so I can see you driving and
My son and his wife, they lived with us for a short while, and they moved back. They're in a different place in Minnesota. They're in Red Wing now.
Okay.
But yeah. So at some point now, if we kind of took a break from each other for a few months, because you get too close, when you're living right in with somebody. Along about November, December, along holiday time, we want to get up there and see them guys again. We love them to death, and we'll probably be blaring that song on the highway on the way up there, I suppose.
So when you aren't making music, what are you listening to?
Well, that varies. Some of it's my wife's favorite station is the 107.3. They used to play like a mix of older stuff. They're playing more newer things now. But we like a lot of the 70s and 80s music, some of the 90s, the pop and stuff. But I like some of the old time country yet, and some of the stuff from earlier 60s and 70s. I grew up then. I'm actually 61. People look at me and say, "No, you're not." Yep, 1958. Do the math. But God's been good to me, and I've been blessed with good health, and I go running.
Yeah, you run marathons, right?
Well, I haven't done one in about 4 years, and I sure as heck wouldn't be able to complete one now, but I could probably finish a 10K.
Okay. I mean, like, we kind of did our research a little bit when you had first reached out to us. And I was like, this guy, he's a marathon runner? He does all this stuff? And we're like, that's pretty amazing. I'm not running often unless I'm being chased. So, I mean, like, why running?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of what I would do to stay in shape, and I'm not terribly good at a lot of different sports. I just lack the dedication and maybe the coordination for some of it. But if you're running, all you gotta do is put one foot in front of the other, and I mean, if you can't run, you could walk, you can bike, you can do the elliptical, you can do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I figure if I can do something and stay in shape, I also got a small weight set at home, and I'll do some of that to just try to keep strength up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Planet Fitness membership. I get in there when I can. Not so much over the summer, but I'm probably going to hit that again pretty quick in the fall and winter. Just got to try and keep moving. Otherwise, I'll lose the ability at some point. Even thought about. I had a friend that just ran a 50K.
Wow.
Which is a little bit longer than marathon.
I know.
Right. That's 31 miles to 26. I mean, I could see myself maybe doing something like that someday, but it takes a lot of training, a lot of hard work to get to that.
Yeah. I mean, and where are you running to?
Yeah.
Where are we running to? I need to know. Like, what was the last race you ran?
I ran a 5K. When the heck was it? It was earlier this summer. I ran a 5K. And at this point, I'm actually drawing a blank on where it was. It was local. It was a trail 5K.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at the JSOL, the Janesville Schools Outdoor Lab. It's all hills and woods, and there was a creek crossing, and there was rocks in the path and tree logs you had to leap over. I didn't make really good time on that. I still placed first in my age group.
Good job.
41 minutes and something, and nobody else in my age group was able to top that.
Wow.
So that was a fun race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a trail race.
That would be kind of intense.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. My goodness. Man of many talents. So, where can people find your info? I mean, I know you have a website because we're getting billed for it. But where can people find you? Lay out the how to find Kharlie M.
Well, what I usually do is tell people to go to Kharlie.com. It's KHARLIE.com. And from there, right on the homepage, I've got links to all my social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, whatever that is. Oh no, and then I have music on Bandcamp, and that's linked to from there as well. I forget what else is. I think I have some stuff on YouTube, and that's on that as well.
Do you use? I mean, like besides Bandcamp, do you have any other music on digital platforms?
I have a few things up on SoundCloud.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
But you don't use a distributor, correct? Like you're not going through CD Baby, DistroKid, any of that?
Actually, I think it's Sounddrop that I'm using, and I do have my stuff up on iTunes and all of those places as well.
Oh, are you? So then, are you on Spotify?
Spotify too. Yep.
Okay, I've never heard of Sounddrop.
Yeah, it's a distribution that they do it for free.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we got some research to do.
It's either free or it's very cheap. I don't remember which. It was like $5. It's been a while since I because I did this right after I released Come On Kharlie M. I put it all up there. I'd actually have to consult my website to check it.
I need to
and
check.
See, I need to look because I don't recall.
And that was released in 2018, so just a year ago.
Yep, in July. Yep.
Do you have an estimate as to the next one, when that will be released? Do you have a time frame?
I have gotten myself burned doing that.
Okay.
Hence the term, come on, Kharlie M. You said you were going to have this out in 2014, Now it's 2018. Come on already.
But now you have time. Now you have time.
That said, I am guessing sometime early in 2020, or early meaning the first half of the year.
Gotcha.
I should have
By
something
June,
else.
maybe.
Yeah. It might be sooner than that.
I
but-
ask that question to a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people who are
Yeah.
like, oh, I've got all these things I want to record. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
they're like, I don't want to say a time frame because then I get disappointed when I
Right.
don't release it.
Yeah, I
So-
also didn't want to completely not answer that question, so I say I am planning on getting something out early next year.
Gotcha.
That said, it'll probably be somewhere between February and June.
Gotcha.
I don't know, but I'm gonna start working on stuff probably within the next month or so. I'm still trying to get used to retired life, and we're still transitioning some other things, and we've gone through, and we're gonna be having work done on the house,
Mhm.
and it's just a lot of things. But
We're not going to rush you.
but while we're doing that, I wanna get busy and start doing some of those things.
Do you have any other merchandise available?
No, but that's been a thought.
Okay.
If I get out and start doing some more public shows and people are looking for CDs and stuff, I'd like to get, I don't know, T-shirts or coffee mugs or something out that perhaps.
Coffee mug.
Coffee mugs.
Go through Cafe Press. That's what we did.
That
I
would be
drink a
great.
mug. I had brought my mug to work, and it's me drinking me. with our website on
Trying
it.
to find where I'm at. Okay, Bandcamp. I'm on Amazon, Apple Music, Google Play Music, Spotify and Deezer, whatever that is. Apparently I'm on there. I don't even remember that. and yeah, my entire album, Come On Kharlie M, is available on SoundCloud as well for listening.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm on a whole bunch of places with that one.
So that's. And do you have any upcoming shows, or this was it? And now it's time to
None at
record?
this point, no.
Gotcha.
I was gonna try to get some other stuff lined up before I get in here tonight. I could say, yeah, I just played here. It never happened. It just never happened.
Well, what?
So I
You're
am
for hire.
wide open. Kharlie M is for hire at this
Kharlie
point.
M for hire. And you can check out his stuff on the previous video and the multiple platforms he just said that he's on, as well as his website.
Yes, that's where I just found that information, was on my website. And to know how this goes together, I built, designed, and I totally managed my own website. So it just literally slipped my mind that I had done all this until you asked about it.
Good.
So it's not like somebody else is managing my material and I don't know what they're doing. No, my right and left hand don't know what they're doing. That's what's
Anticipate new music
Yeah.
by next year.
Yep.
And hopefully out and about soon. I know that Robbie was watching and Kat was watching and Andrew Pritchard and Party Marty and all of
Oh,
those.
yeah, I met Andrew too.
Yeah, so they all watched and shared.
I auditioned for Summerfest at the
Ah.
back bar in Janesville.
Yes. So we know somebody who runs the stage. Her name is Andy Heath. And so I would connect with her if you want to do Summerfest next year. Just so you
Andy,
know.
that was Andy with two eyes, right?
Yes.
Yep, I met her there too.
Okay. So
So I have, but it's been a while since I've reached out to any of these folks. Everything was kind of on the back burner during all the
Transition.
transitioning and stuff, sure. But it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So, upcoming new stuff in 2020. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Well, thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you. And with that, we bid you adieu. You can catch us Sunday night. We have more music at Union Park Tavern. It's actually a costume contest party. So come in costume, come win some prizes. Check out Indiana's own Dissonance and Dissent, as well as Kenosha's own Scorned Rotten. And then next Tuesday, we're interviewing our friend Ingrid, because she's doing a hug tour. She goes around the U.S. and hugs people, free hugs, because she believes in bringing peace to people, which is super awesome. So she's going to interview with us on Tuesday, and then Thursday we have Lucy Morningstar from California. Actually, they're originally from Hawaii, but I believe she's now based in California. So we have quite a lineup within the next week. So stay tuned, keep watching, check out Kharlie M, that's Kharlie.com, and have a good night!